Good afternoon and welcome to this special edition of Things That Matter. I'm your host, Carl Krebs, and seated beside me in studio today is a good friend and someone who needs your help, Mr. Reg Harder. I want to start the story off by saying what happened to Reg could happen to anybody. The loss of a home, the loss of a house, and all of its contents is a tragedy that none of us should wish upon anyone. But it does happen. The following story that you're going to hear is what Reg and Sadie Harder had to deal with when their home, their retirement home, went up in flames on December 26th of this past year, Boxing Day. So Reg, I want to thank you for coming and telling your story. Welcome to the studio.
Thank you.
I want to begin with just a brief overview. This house was built over time with a whole lot of love and a whole lot of personal effort, and most of it was you building it, wasn't it?
Our son and myself, yeah. And
All
our
right.
grandson. And our grandson.
All right. It took a while to build, and when you finally retired, Lord knows you worked long enough and hard enough over those years. This was your retirement home, a home where you would spend the rest of the time that the good Lord gives you in a very tranquil place up in Manigataugan in Manitoba here. Why did you pick that spot? Let's start with the choice of location and where it was. It's rather a remote location.
Yeah, it's a very remote location, but it's easy to get at. The roads are pretty good. It's right by the river, right connected to Lake Winnipeg. It's a secluded place, 1,000 feet from the main road, going one road going through Manigataugan. And you can basically listen to the birds breathe.
That's pretty quiet, Rich. I love it. And your idea, the thinking behind building this place, was to make it as independent and, so to speak, off the grid as possible. Can you tell me how you were able to do that?
Well, we did a lot of homework. It's not something that I haven't done this before. But I was working with the top engineers electrical engineers that can help me do this, and we went ahead and did that. And it was very safe, secure. No big problems. It's the information and equipment is all there to do this, and we went ahead and lived this way.
Now, some of the pictures that you folks are seeing here are how well built this cabin was. I mean, we talked off the air. I think it was built better than Noah's Ark. I mean, your headers, your doorways, everything was built, in your words, almost overbuilt, but built to go the distance, to stand and weather the test of time.
Yeah, our son is a millwright, and he overbuilds everything, and that's why we do things.
Okay.
We did that in our former business too, so
Yeah.
it's like father, like son, a little bit.
Yeah, the apple doesn't fall far from the tree, right? Yeah, we're going to touch a little bit on your background as we go through this. But talk about the, I guess, how you powered it up. This was solar powered mostly, wasn't it?
Yes, it was, yeah.
So like solar, I mean, it doesn't always, like contrary to some people, the sun doesn't always shine, even though it shines a lot in Manitoba. So you had a backup generator to power this home of yours.
Yeah, it's just a small generator to charge the batteries for an hour or so. I even got quite a bit of power in, even when it was cloudy, but I had to run the generator every now and then, which was no big problem.
So let's go to that day now. The house is beautifully built. You have a nice home. You've been enjoying it. December 26th, everything changed. Take us through that day from the moment where it started, how it evolved, and your attempts to save your home.
Right about 5:30, give or take. I don't know what time.
5:30 in the morning?
In the evening.
Evening, okay.
Noticed something. Ran outside. Saw a bad color, which was a fire. Grabbed a fire extinguisher, and that didn't do much. I had the snow blower there, so I started blowing snow. Just about had it all out, and then the fire department showed up. miraculously, I thought, oh man, this thing can be saved. They came and my wife was busy getting help, and she got stuck and through the excitement. But the fire department showed up and we started to extinguishing the fire, which had by then grown quite a bit. I almost had it contained with a snowblower, but
okay, I want to stop on that point, because that is the most interesting thing I've heard on anyone's attempt to save their home. But knowing you to be the ingenious person that you are, that comes from business experience. Your fire extinguisher was exhausted, didn't do enough.
Didn't do
so
nothing.
You took your snowblower and tried to blow snow at the fire.
Well, we had quite a bit of snow, and yeah, I did what I could to blow. I have a big snowblower, and I almost had it out. I thought I pretty well done, but
yeah,
it propped up again because the generator exploded and there was still gas everywhere. So
that almost propelled the fire when the thing,
yes,
when they exploded.
yeah.
Fire department shows up, and they do their best.
Well, they're only they're almost next door. So
This is also a volunteer fire department, as most people would surmise.
Beautiful equipment. I was, they were there, and everybody knew what they were doing. It was like for a small community, a volunteer fire department. It's amazing what they did. One crew got the truck going, got the hoses, and got everything going, and then another crew went out in the river and punched a hole through the ice and got a pump going there. And now they had, the fire truck only has so much water, and they continue to pour water on it. And I figured, man, this can maybe be saved for a while, but it just.
So there was a while where you held out hope. This is going to be contained. They're going to get the fire out. At what point did you see this going bad?
It's just, I watched them, and the fire went through sheets of tin. There was a tin barrier between different parts of the floor, pony wall they call it, and it just went right through it. I said, how can that happen? But it is what it is. It's.
Now, I think at one point the firemen were prepared to do even more, right? They were prepared to try to save the home from inside. But you advised against that because you knew the structure quite well.
Yeah, I said, whatever you do, if you got to, just pour water through the windows, doors, or whatever you need to do, but don't go inside, whatever you do.
There's a 20-foot ceiling in this home.
20-foot ceiling in that, and you don't know what can come down. So they just did. Like every firefighter there felt like it was theirs, and it was amazing how much care and effort they put into it, extinguishing.
So you're watching your house burn, and you still have concern for the safety of the firemen themselves. That you would say, "Hey, don't risk your life going in there for that."
Everybody has a different personality. I had my wits about me. I didn't panic for some reason. It's a God-given gift, I guess. But when it's amazing what they did. I can't even, and the people that showed up, even the mayor was there almost right away. It was just, everybody was involved in helping.
So the volunteer fire department did everything it could. I mean, they were there before Sadie could get them. That was her purpose in leaving.
Yes.
Was to try to get the fire department, because how else could you get them? But they saw the smoke signals, I take
yes.
it. Or somebody called it in and said there's trouble over at Reg and Sadie's.
Fire chief showed up and there was a truck, and here we are.
Yeah. So they weren't able to continue. I think the response from the community was pretty phenomenal in terms of what happened afterward. When this all went bad, the community came behind you. You needed a place to stay that night. You obviously needed to eat. How did the community respond to you, Reg?
Well, you hear these stories about a small town community and everybody pitching together. I mean, this is just another story like that. Like everybody treated us like it was theirs. Like they had a fire loss. My wife Sadie was brought away right away to a home, and she didn't need to be there and see it. But and I. Shortly after I left, I got a ride, and what can I do? Just turned off whatever I needed to turn off, and water and everything else, and that's all I could do.
So as far as casualties, there were no casualties, but there was some personal trauma. Sadie eventually was admitted to the hospital. You took in some smoke, but you were able to weather that. Let's talk about your wife's health, because, you know, beyond the loss of property, we're always going to be concerned about the people. So take us through that ordeal, because that added even more onto the situation.
Yeah, my wife, I didn't think my wife was in the cabin very long, so I couldn't understand smoke inhalation, but I went inside before there was any smoke inside just to get a key, because my snowblower ran out of snow, and I started to shovel, but that didn't help. So I went just to get a key for the vehicle, and I took one breath, and it was not smoking inside. And well, this doesn't taste good. So I got out immediately, and I didn't care about anything. There was no thought in my mind to save anything else. I just have to get out. And I guess while Sadie was stuck with it with a vehicle, I guess, you know, what she went through, I thought initially it was just smoke inhalation, and later on, much later, we found out it was a mild heart attack. It was stress heart attack.
Yeah, I read the initial reports, and she was being treated, or at least there was some kind of diagnosis about smoke inhalation, but it actually turned out to be a heart attack that was stress-induced.
Yes.
So let's fast forward to today. It's January 11th. How is Sadie doing?
On the road to recovery. We were taking short walks, and that was another mysterious thing. She had no symptoms of a heart attack, nothing. Just shortness of breath, which I thought was smoke inhalation. Everybody did. But she's expecting a complete recovery. We're going for short, slow walks already, and she shows no sign of. Yeah, everything seems to be well on the way of recovery.
Yeah, I had a chance to speak with her off camera, and she sounded like the same old Sadie, but it takes a while to get back to normal on this one. We have a picture here of you and Sadie together. You've been together a long time. You've been married a long time. Just briefly touch on that. I read that you had just celebrated your 50th anniversary.
Yes, we went with our family and some friends at our son's place. Yeah, they put this all together. It's family's very close, and we had a short little celebration. It's been 50 years. That went by quick.
Do you both agree on that point?
Gonna have to ask her.
Yeah, we'll ask her at one point. We're going to do a follow-up on this as you begin to rebuild, so to speak. But yeah, staying together 50 years, what a testimony to commitment to each other. You guys have weathered some storms in life. You have been through some other things, and I guess when you look forward, it's staying together that counts the most. I just want to shift gears here for a minute, because the reason we're doing this, the reason why we're telling this story, is for you, the public, to get a handle on what tragedy looks like upon tragedy. Not only did Reg and Sadie lose their home, they lost everything in it, but there was no insurance on this. And when we read that, I think the first question is, how does that come to be? So to put this into the proper context, I want to ask you to tell the people who are going to be watching, how did it come to be that the house was uninsured, or, and I want to correct myself, was uninsurable?
Well, yeah, it was as we were building. Well, in the beginning, we didn't have anything powered going to it, so there's nothing to insure. We weren't too concerned about it. But as we built on, and we tried different avenues. We had it inspected. We did everything we could to get it inspected to meet the criteria. And we met all the criteria, and because of the wildfires and everything else that was in the area, they just didn't accept our insurance. We were going to wait till the fires are over and all the, and I can't really maybe blame them. They're a business. I'm not angry at the insurance companies. The insurance broker did whatever he could. He did his best to get every insurance company to accept our application, but just wasn't ready. They were ready to look at it in January, which we are now. They're welcome to insure it now if they want.
I'm guessing you're going to pay a whole lot less on the contents and structure at this point.
But Could we have done more? Maybe. But we did what we could to get insurance, and a hindsight is just going to drive us crazy. So we're not going there. We did what we could. We got all the inspections done. We had everything done what we were supposed to. I spent a couple of $1,000s on a new fire chimney to make it all latest. Do everything we needed to do.
Up to spec, so to speak, as much as you
or
can
more than up to spec. It was, but I'm 71 years old. I've never experienced a fire. Yeah, it was back in my mind, and in the summer we put in sprinkler systems on the buildings.
Mm-hmm.
We had multiple different pumps hooked up to the river. That was our biggest concern about the wildfire. In case that all doesn't happen, we were prepared.
There were wildfires this year in your area, or
well,
close enough.
not that close, but every building that had sprinklers on them got saved. Buildings that got destroyed didn't have sprinkler systems on it. So we did what we could to protect the building. Never knowing this could happen, but
yeah. So rather than look back in hindsight and put our own regrets on ourselves and cause ourselves to feel, what we don't want to feel, negative energy and so forth. When you look back at this in hindsight, Reg, what can you share with people out there? Because I've known you for a long time. I knew you in the days when you had a business, a very successful business. You're a man who would cover his bases and protect what needs to be protected well within the range of what's reasonable and affordable. And here you are in the tragedy of your life. When you look back, what advice can you give to people who might otherwise, God forbid, that you go through something like this? What can you say to those people?
Well, a fire extinguisher, first of all, is never big enough. And when you have a tragic something like this happen to you, I would advise every person to go through in their mind what would happen to them if this would happen. How would they react if something like this would happen? What would you want to go there and save? And how much is it worth?
Versus the cost of human life.
Versus the cost of human life. I can't stress that enough. Go through this in your mind. Rehearse it. I never thought something like this could happen to us. I mean, we had every safety thing in place.
Having done what's reasonable and there's
above and beyond.
Above and beyond, yeah.
We had breakers upon safety devices in there that just. But going into a building when it's not even smoking inside and trying to save something is not worth it. Rehearse that. I can't stress that enough.
Because there's not enough time to get the things that you think you need.
I took one breath of air and I was coughing all night.
Yeah.
And it wasn't smoking in the building yet. It was, and in the middle of it all, you're supposed to put a rag over a wet towel over your head.
Well, where's the wet towels?
Where can you find a wet towel in the middle of all this? I mean, it's.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can put your hand. That doesn't do anything. It's amazing. And how fast it goes. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, talk about that for a minute. The speed at which this fire traveled.
It's unreal. It went through steel. It went through metal cladding. I had barriers built into it, and it's just like it wasn't even there.
Yeah. The pictures that we have here are, the house was a blazing ember. I mean, I do a lot of camping. I look into the fire, and I see the intensity of what an ember looks like. Your house, at the point where it was the worst, was a complete ember of orange.
Well, we had a lot of wood in it, and pine inside, and that's.
Yeah, beautifully finished. I mean, the pictures are amazing. This looked like a great place to retire. And it all comes to a smoldering ruin at the end. I mean, it's unthinkable to be in that position.
What's left is earthly, our earthly possessions we'll have to leave at some point at some point anyhow. What's really important is family, and family and friends, unreal. I should be very sad about this whole thing. I regret or whatever, but the support we've had, it's overwhelming. It's just absolutely overwhelming.
We're going to get into that in a
Yeah,
minute
I
because
know,
we have
I
an
can't.
update on
That's-
where we're at financially. But I want to pivot here in a moment because I know you as a Bible-believing, God-fearing man. How has this shaken your faith at all when you look at this? You just talked about earthly belongings. Yes, at some point it all gets left behind. But when you look at this, how do you look at it through the perspective of a believer, of a man of faith? Can you share anything about that?
I have to collect my thoughts a little bit. It's the kingdom of God is inside of us, and that doesn't fade. Material things are material things. Yeah, there's a lot of things in there that, oh man, now whatever. It's material, and maybe some of it we need, some of it we don't.
Mm-hmm.
But the Lord is still inside of me. The kingdom of God is inside of you, and that does not shake. And
Mm-hmm.
you wonder, why can this happen then? If you're on God's side, how can God allow this? Well, all things work for good for those. I mean, there's something good that's coming out of us, and it is already. I mean, with all this support we've had.
I know. I was in church this morning, and it came to me, and I shared this with you off camera. The verse in Jeremiah 29:11. It's one of those popular verses that, sometimes it's misapplied, and it's misunderstood, and it causes people to say, "Well, what about this God?" And this verse says, "For I know the plans I have for you, declares the Lord, plans to prosper and not harm you, plans to give you a hope and a future." I have to say, Reg, I'm not the person in your shoes. I don't stand where you are. I'm not going to have to rebuild what I held so dear. But I find it hard, and I think people out there are going to find it hard to walk through this storm in your life and still believe that God is sovereign and good, and that this verse still applies.
Yes, it does, and many other verses. People come up to me and say, "I'm sorry," and I understand where they're coming from. There's so many compassionate people. I'm not, it's just not. But I should be sad, and yeah, maybe I am. But there's so much hope. We're planning. We've already got the plans drawn for the new building. We're looking forward.
Yeah.
We can't rummage through the ashes. I mean, it's done what's done, and we
Yeah.
move on. Learn from it, yes.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
know,
So you mentioned earlier the response. It's been phenomenal. And I'm really glad to hear that your family is close, that your kids and the extended family through spouses and whoever constitutes the Harder family has pulled in tight and rallied around you. Your daughter Brenda has done a phenomenal job getting this started. Speak to that for just a moment, because we're going to give you an update on where we're at financially on this recovery effort.
well, our daughter and her husband just instinctively, I don't know, they just pitched in and did this. They wrote it up, and I didn't even know what they were doing. We were busy with trying to get Sadie healthy and find out what was going on, and she already had that going. And it's something I can say to people that have grievances with one another. We have different faiths, we have different beliefs, we have different thoughts about life, and it causes a lot of stress in the family. I urge people to let that go and talk. Where can you meet? Work and join together, hold hands, and come together. If we wouldn't have had our family like this, it would have been devastating.
Yeah, I can't imagine it. I've always said, I just want to share from my perspective, that reconciliation is only possible when all parties are present.
Yes.
Forgiveness can happen at any time. But the reconciliation, as you said, this meeting in the middle, overcoming those differences and those things that divide us, because in this world, we are facing forces that will divide us. We've been through years of it, the COVID crisis, everything has caused us. There are families today that are torn apart,
Yes.
that probably could not pull together. in a moment like this. But your family stuck together. You and your wife stayed together. And now you're in the rebuilding efforts. And I'm so glad to know. So let's talk about where we're at right now. And right now on the GoFundMe, we're sitting at about $67,000, I believe, and growing. And you've also had some money sent to you directly by friends who know how to do that quickly, checks that were mailed to you. It's been a pretty good response in light of the fact that we're less than 2 weeks into this.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
So on the screen you're seeing, how can you help? Because all of this was done, and I thank Wake Up Canada News for assisting in the studio that we're in to be able to bring this to you. Here are the ways that you can respond. Friends and family and anyone who feels the tug to help a man and his wife recover in the later times of their life, because it's pretty difficult now to retire. You're not the same man you were a few years ago, and in a few years you'll be a different man again. But the GoFundMe is set up, so you can go to GoFundMe.com, and on my website you're going to see it, and on many friends' website you're going to see the GoFundMe. So that's already in place. We have the GoFundMe. In addition to that, checks payable to Reg and Sadie Harder can be mailed to the address that you're seeing here, 87 Wonk Avenue in Winnipeg, and we encourage you to do that, because those checks payable to you do not go through any processing fees or commissions, which sites like GoFundMe have to do. They're not here to do it for free. They're making money off this, but we thank them. These are good things to have. In addition, through my organization, Things That Matter, which is properly incorporated, I spoke with our financial secretary, and we will be able to accept your e-transfers directly into the Things That Matter Incorporated bank account by sending it to Samaritan@thingsthatmatter.ca. And in the case of checks, and in our case as an organization, we're glad to assist you, and we will be making a donation as well on behalf of Things That Matter. We have a little bit of money, and I can't think of a better place to put it than to send it to you. But if you send it through us, we're going to capture it all. We're going to send it directly. Every dollar that is e-transferred to Samaritan@thingsthatmatter.ca is going to go directly to Reg and Sadie. So in this time, you know, we can't go back. We can only go forward. Lessons are learned. Experience has been shared here. And we want to say that there's going to be some good things that come out of it. Now, I know you got a goal set of $80,000. That's not going to get it done, folks. I think somewhere in the neighborhood close to $200,000 is what it's going to take to rebuild that. Can you speak to that for a moment?
Well, I have some marketing experience. I'm willing to go back to, work isn't an enemy of mine. I'll do what I can. I've got some ideas of what to do. And we have family and yeah, we're just going to go through it and find out what the cost will be and find out what it's going to take to go through it.
At this point right now, you're drawing up plans, right?
We're drawing up plans.
There is no doubt about it. You're going forward to rebuild your home.
Well, we have that type of mentality, and
is that a Harder thing or a Mennonite thing, or what is it?
I like to think that is God inspired.
Amen.
And that's without Him we can't do any of this. So He promises to provide a way, and for us to have a place to live, and that's going to happen.
Yeah.
One thing I like to add. Through this, I don't think we'll ever be the same. I'm going to look at humanity at a whole different level. There's so much hatred in this world caused by things going wrong in the world. I can understand that. But, oh man, I'm trying to delete any hatred that I had in the past and really focus in on the humanity. Well, how many different people came together here. I want to smile at every person I see on the street if they want to make eye contact. I look at people in a whole different light, and I hope I don't forget that. And that's something that I wish for everybody. Everybody to have caring like you've shown us. Have that type of caring to one another. God created us. We're a creation of God, and be a part of His kingdom. We're so highly valued. We lose sight of our value to one another. We're sometimes a little bit too hooked up on our little phone, but that's another topic.
We'll tackle that in another interview when we meet back to celebrate. But so again, folks listening out there, you've heard the story. Some of you have been asking, well, what's the story? And you've read a little bit about it. But this is a story told for the man who's gone through one of the biggest tragedies that I think any human being could go through. And still, you're on the other side of it now. You're still walking and breathing. You still have your wife. You got your family. And in the process of what's going to happen, we get to participate with you. And I'm really glad you took the time to tell the story here, because these are the moments when we intersect with each other in life. These are moments when hearts are joined, communities come together to support. And there is an unlimited amount of wealth out there. And some of you that are watching, to give thousands of dollars, I was just impressed learning with what your ex-employer said. He's a wonderful, generous man. You know, I want to mention Larry Vicker here.
Yes.
I want to mention the Larry Vicker that owns the Vicker Shovels and all the other Vicker dealerships in Winnipeg as being incredibly generous with his donation. And some of you might have done business with Reg. You might know him from the days of Leisure Travel Vans, which is another story we're going to tell one day, but not today, because that was a personal heartache too in how that, but you've always been a noble man. In the years that I've known you and heard about you, I watched your product in the field, and you've just been one of those stand-up guys, and I can't think of a better guy that needs your help right now. So the ways that you could participate have been up on the screen, and they're up right now again. Please, if it's within your heart and your ability, would you please help a couple rebuild a home? And we thank you, and I'll give the final comment to you, Reg.
Well, thanks for doing this, and thanks for everybody. I almost feel like one of those people standing in the street corner asking for help. I never thought I'd do something like that, but I almost feel that way. But I'm doing that with gratitude and thankfulness that this whole thing is so much easier to handle because of all this. And I thank everyone. Tell the story. Do what I asked you to do, and let's move on with a positive attitude. We thank you.
So, how does this work? Liking this and sharing this. This is not for anyone's benefit other than Reg and Sadie. So when you see this, please share this with your friends. You never know who your friends know. And it just takes that one or two people that are just sitting there thinking, I want to help somebody. Send it out, share it out, and let's make this thing go big, and let's get Reg and Sadie Harder back into their home. Thank you so much for taking the time to watch this video, and God bless you wherever you are.
What if the future of health wasn't about adding more, but activating what's already within you? That's what LifeWave is doing. In a world searching for energy, clarity, and better living, LifeWave is emerging as one of the fastest growing wellness communities on the planet, bringing together science, innovation, and people who care. This isn't about hype, it's about possibility, a smarter approach to wellness, a global movement. If you're ready to be part of something bigger, something that's changing lives, it might be time to take a closer look at LifeWave. LifeWave, helping you live your best life now.